Jesus said in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 5, he was comparing the old standard with the new standard there. He said, according to the old standard of the Ten Commandments, Matthew 5, the law said in verse 21, you must not commit murder. That's the old standard. That's a standard which many non-Christians also keep. There are thousands of non-Christians who have never murdered anybody. They live by that standard. You shall not commit murder, Matthew 5:21. But Jesus said, I have come with a new standard, the new covenant. You must not get angry, because anger is the new covenant equivalent of murder in the old covenant. That means he's saying that murder comes out of anger in the heart, so you better get rid of anger. Just to say I didn't murder anybody is the Old Testament standard. But if you want to be my disciple, Jesus says, you can't live by that standard. You've got to live by a higher standard. Let's get rid of anger. And you know how that's not so easy. So here is the first step. When you come to pray, verse 23, when you come with your offering to the altar, that means you're coming to pray to God, and then you remember that you got angry with your brother. You know what the Lord says? Stop praying. Leave your offering there means stop praying. Don't pray to God anymore. First go to your brother and be reconciled and say, I'm sorry. I got upset with you. Please forgive me. Then come and offer your prayer. That's how you keep a good conscience with man. So with God, you confess it to Him, which you can do immediately. As I said, that's very easy. The difficult part is to go to a person whom you have wronged or you hurt. Maybe you spoke a rude word or you got upset with someone. And maybe you feel, I've got every right to get angry. Do you know that everyone who gets angry usually feels, I've got every right to be angry. Why shouldn't I be angry? I have every right to. But when you become a disciple of Jesus Christ, you give up your rights. You don't have a right to be angry because you're a disciple of Jesus. And I don't justify myself. I go to that person and say, I'm sorry, I got upset with you, please forgive me. Then I come and offer my prayer to God. So this is very simple. This is how I can keep my conscience clear before God and before men. Or let me give you another example, again from the Gospels. In Luke's Gospel, in chapter 19, we read of a man who was a very crooked tax collector. His name was Zacchaeus. That means he cheated so many people. Being a tax collector those days, there were crooked tax collectors just like today. And because he had cheated so many people, it says in Luke 19 verse 2, he was very rich. Now you would think that such a person has got no conscience at all. He's cheated so many people, and you write off such people saying they are hopeless. And everybody in Israel had written him off as hopeless. This guy, there's no hope for him. But he had a desire to see Jesus. You know, sometimes some of these crooked people, you think they're useless, but some of them are feeling so guilty about all that they've done that they may want to be Christians. So Zacchaeus, it says because he heard Jesus was passing by and he was a very short man, so he climbed up into a tree to see him. And Jesus, prompted by God from heaven, knew that there was this man on the tree. So he told him, Zacchaeus, come down, I want to stay in your house. Luke 19:5. And Zacchaeus came down, and Jesus walked with this man to his house. And I want you to see something very interesting here. When they reached his house, it says in verse 8, Zacchaeus stopped He walked all the way up to the gate of his house, and he came to the gate of his house and he stopped. And he said, Lord, before you enter my house, I've got something to tell you. Because, Jesus says in verse 5, Jesus came to stay in his house for the night. He wanted to stay in that Zacchaeus' house. And Zacchaeus said, before you stay in my house, I've got to tell you something. I have cheated many people. This house is built with money that I stole from others by cheating in my tax collecting job. So I don't want you to enter this house before I settle this matter. So that's why he stopped in front of his house and he says, Lord, I want to tell you something. All those whom I cheated, I'm going to go back to all of them and give them verse 8, 4 times as much as I took from them. That means he calculated how much interest and all he would owe them for so many years that he had cheated them. And he said, I'll add some more to that because I cheated them, and I'll give back 4 times. See, this is how I'm trying to tell you how to have a good conscience before men. If you've hurt somebody, we saw earlier, you go and ask forgiveness from that person. But if you have cheated somebody of money, here's how to have a good conscience. You calculate how much interest that chap would have got if you had not cheated him. And you give that money back to him. But then there may also be a lot of people, you may have a lot of money which you've got from people. You don't even know where those guys are now. You cheated them probably 20 years ago. I've come across people like that who've done something wrong, cheated somebody, said, Brother Zac, I don't even know where they are today. What do I do with that money? I can't keep it. It's not righteously earned money. I should not have even 1 cent in my bank account which is not righteously earned. To keep a good conscience means that. I don't want to have any money in my bank account which is not earned absolutely righteously. If I've cheated someone, I return to that person. And what about all that money which I earned unrighteously, but I don't even know where those people are? Zacchaeus said, I'm going to take all that money, verse 8, and give it to the poor. I can't keep it because it's unrighteous money. Why did he give it to the poor? Because all money belongs to God. God is the ultimate owner of everything in this world. And we read that in 1 Corinthians in chapter 10. That's a great verse which says, 1 Corinthians 10:26. The earth belongs to the Lord, and everything in it belongs to Him also. So all the money in the world belongs to God. So if I don't know the original owner of this money, which I stole wrongfully from X, Y, or Z, I don't know where they are today, I can give it back to the original owner. That is God. He's the original owner of everything. So, Zacchaeus said, well, I don't know where the original owner is, so I'll give it back to God. In other words, I'll give it to the poor. Or today, you can give it to the church. Because that's where the Lord is today. There was no church in Zacchaeus' time. But today I say, if you've got money with you which is not righteously earned, you must not keep it. It'll never be a blessing to you. It'll never be a blessing to your children. And if you give it back, if you know where the owner is, give it back, calculating the interest. And if you don't know where the owner is, give it to the church. Give it to the work of the Lord. It's gone back to God. Then your bank account is clear. And you can say, well, there's a little less in my bank account, but I can be absolutely sure there's not 1 cent there which is not righteously earned. There'll be a blessing of God upon it.